Hello. This is the 158th test from the future, an experimental podcast from the year 2224, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Simon, and Dirk is elsewhere, and we're putting the past in podcast. So, as Dirk mentioned last week, he is taking part in the European Portal Triathlon today. Last week he told you all about the gear he was going to be using and his preparations and so on. And right now he's actually in the final leg of it. He's going all day. I've tried to time this that I'm going to talk a bit about what's happened so far, and then hopefully I'll get to see, and then I'll let you know which position he comes in the triathlon. But then, okay, he's in the last bit of it now. I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened so far today. But actually before that, just in case any of you missed it last week, I was going to cover a bit more about the European Portal Triathlon. Because it's different from triathlons that you will have known about 200 years ago. The main difference, so there used to be swimming, running and cycling has been replaced by hoverboarding. So no one rides bicycles anymore, hoverboards are their replacement. And the other big difference is it used to be a fixed order, so swimming, followed by running, followed by cycling. And now the order is completely random. And not just the order of the events, but the number of events and also the locations of the events. That's where the portal in the title comes from, where each event, so the participants have no idea what the next event will be, whether it will be swimming, running or hoverboarding. And they also don't know where in Europe it will be. They know it's going to be within Europe. That does narrow it down a little bit, but different, one place may be raining and cold, the other place really hot and dry. Slightly different times of day as well, and so on and so on. Okay, so that's just a bit of background. And then, since this is a tech podcast, or kind of a tech podcast, it was pretty fun that there were so many mishaps today. Dirk mentioned some of the tech that he was going to be using. And, the first thing that happened was as soon as, so after the first swim, not all the participants, but a whole bunch of them, when they jumped onto their hoverboards, that was the next event through the portal, a whole bunch of them, their shoes, the magnetism didn't work. So instead of sticking to their hoverboards, they slipped right off and fell over in a big heap. And at first, as is often the case with such things, the first assumption by a lot of people is that it's sabotage, the other team or some other participants may be trying to mess up other participants, but at least this was cleared up. No, the batteries had simply ran out. Okay, and this was going, the triathlon has been going for many hours now, yeah, so I'm going to condense it all. Not all these mishaps happened at the same time, but I'm giving you the highlights. The next one, this was less noticeable, because, a whole bunch of people falling over, that was pretty clear, everyone could see it, including myself, watching along. But the one that was less obvious was when a whole bunch of the runners started, ripping the tubes out of their mouth and spitting out what they'd been drinking. And it's because the condensator that usually converts sweat into drinking water instead had reversed and had absorbed all the taste of the seawater from the previous swim. So then the people were drinking in salt water, very salty, obviously, not what they needed. Again, sabotage, not sabotage, just bad programming, unfortunately. And one last thing that happened, the pressure field generator that adjusts the air resistance around your body, so that the participants can run more efficiently through the air or swim more efficiently through the water. This one actually was hacking. This wasn't just a mistake. Someone, and that's still to be identified, hopefully we'll find out at some point, someone hacked a whole bunch of them so that it did the opposite of what was intended. Going through the water, it made as much drag as possible. So here's the thing, it was seemingly random. It wasn't like particularly favoring one group of participants over another. Seemingly random, but then very disruptive to the event. And some people then called and said, hey, we should, do this over. This doesn't count because there was so much mistakes and mishaps and hacking. But at least for now, the decision was made. No, let's just keep going ahead. We'll worry about fixing it for next year. And just checking now where Dirk is. Okay, yeah, he's, looks like very close to the finish line. Yeah, I'd say maybe one more minute. So then I think I have time. Yep, we've got time. So actually, before Dirk crosses the finish line, I'll just read this listener email. Buddy, I've been looking all over the place for you since you left Birmingham Airport in February 2024. Hopefully you still remember me after all this time. I'm just glad that I finally found your podcast. And now, I need to find you again, especially since you still have something of mine. I'll find you one of these days. Nisha. That's a very strange email. Thank you, of course, Nisha, for sending it in. I've never been to Birmingham Airport, and especially I've not been there in the year 3024. I mean, our emails, they usually come from 200 years ago, so maybe you just made a typo. You meant 2024. Either way, I was not there 200 years ago. I will not be there 800 years from now. Thank you for the email, regardless, and hopefully you enjoyed hearing your message. Oh, and that's the teleporter. Let me just go see who that is. One sec. Hey, Dirk. Oh, let me just... My notification thing here has got a bit janky. It should have stopped a while ago. One sec. There we go.
Hey, so hey, I just finished.
I was just answering an email. Saw you cross the line. Do you know your position?
No, I didn't. Where did I end up?
1002nd.
1000. Oh, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I brought somebody.
Hello. Are you okay there?
Hello.
Hi. So a guest all of a sudden. Who are you?
Oh, hello. I'm Marvin.
Hello, Marvin. Are you okay? You've only got one leg there.
Yes. I had to remove the other one.
I see.
You wouldn't happen to have a 3/4 inch ratcheting screwdriver around, would you?
Yeah. Got one just here. There you go.
Oh, marvellous.
Keep it handy always.
Yeah, so you notice he's a robot.
Yeah, of course.
He finished alongside me just now, and he was asking if I had, I don't even know what he was talking about.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those. So I hope it was okay to bring him.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Handy that you're here. Like I said, I just wrapped up the episode. Let me wrap it up properly, and then we can have a proper conversation.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay, back to the podcast. So, people in the past, thanks for listening. Please send an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com with the number 158 in the subject line. And that way we'll know that you heard this episode, that it successfully went back into the past. And also if you have any questions, like Nisha did, feel free to put those in your email too. Dirk, do you want to say your...
Can I still say my line?
Please do, you're here.
See you in 20 years.
Bye-bye.